Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Kate Richburg, and it is time for Beadshop Live. It's great to see all you all. I hope you had a fun Friday with Janice and watching that replay. I have the samples here that I want to show you. I've got a few things to share with you. Let me share with myself. Let me get my coffee, which is right here. I need a little something. There we go. I had a really, really, really fun week, though I missed all of you all, of course, but we had a really good time. Oh, Terry's like, where's the balloon, Miranda?
Not me.
I know. I took it down. Finally.
I was forced.
I know. I finally took my birthday decorations down. I know. Crazy, right? I know. I got rid of it. I'm telling you.
That's okay.
There'll be a new one in like 6 months. Yeah, because exactly 6 months from yesterday, I'm going to turn 60. The big 60.
So I'll just give you a giant 60.
That's right. It's coming. So, yes, my gran was one of those who would celebrate the half birthday. So it was always on St. Patrick's Day for sure. So yeah, 6 more months in my 50s. Then the big 60. I'm ready. Bring it. 60. Bring it. Let's see. Let me see. Curtis, I did. I loved all the brooches. You know, dudes wearing brooches is actually my favorite. It reminds me of my college boyfriend who was a little Ducky Dale, you know, from Pretty in Pink. Yeah, he always wore a brooch either here or on his lapel and would raid my brooch box. It was fun. So, and Chris wears brooches for sure. So I love it. I love that trend. I say jewelry for all. I'm an equal opportunity jewelry employer. Terry is so funny. Miranda, Terry says, R.I.P. sweet unicorn. You were loved and will be missed, at least until the next balloon shows up. That is so fun. I know, but I thought, you know, I should maybe, I don't know, mix it up. It really does look like a little cave in here, right? With all, but I still have my Halloween cat and some things up here. Yeah, my croissant painting from Sarah Little is there. So yeah, you know, I like all the things. I know. And Janice, that's actually the door to the outside, that space. So I can't put anything on the door yet, but it's funny. So yes, Fire Horse returns, my friend. Fire Horse returned. And this Fire Horse is taking no one's crap this year. I'm telling you.
Except mine.
Right? Except for Miranda's, that's for sure. Let's see. And yes, jewelry for all. So Twisted Sister Beads, I saw you on socials do this really cool, was it peyote? It was kind of an up and down kind of thing. It was pretty cool. Tell me about that in the comments. I meant to go back and look for it. But it looked really, really cool. So post that in the comments, would you? I really loved the look of it. It's purely selfish for me to do that, but everyone else can see it too if they missed it. It was really, really cool. I think it was yours. I hope it was. I hope it was yours that I'm putting you on the spot. Let's see. Who else can I put on the spot today? Everybody else looks good. Yeah, today it is going to be 95 degrees today. So Heather, I am not super sad about your 74. We'll take 74, right? But yeah, we are up. We're going to be up at 95 today, which is crazy. Let's see. Anyone else? Okay, good. Oh, it's not yeah, the fluttering along. That's what it is. What is it? She says it's not peyote. So would you would you just post the link in the comments if you have it on your website or whatever? It looked really cool. I wanted to look at it. So yeah, post it. I want to see it. It looks really, really cool. I wasn't sure if it was peyote or square stitch or brick, or it looked really cool. So I'm excited to check it out afterwards. Okay, speaking of checking out, let me show you what I've got on my table in front of me. And then we're going to work on odd count peyote. Oh, is it a kit that you have? Oh, well, put it if you want. I mean, no pressure. Oh, it's square stitch and fringe. It's really, really cool. Even though it's out of stock, if you want to go ahead and post that link so people can see it and see where they can find it later. Oh, there it is. And Janice found it already. Perfect. Right there on Insta. So that's awesome. That's great. It was such a cool, it really caught my eye. I really loved it. I really, really loved it. So, oh, and you can pre-order. Perfect. Well, let's show some love. I really, really liked it. It was cool. I'm going to have to look at it again. Love it. So yes, I did have a fantastic sewing session with my sewing sisters. It was a great week. It was very, inspirational. Everybody worked on such great things. I'll show you a little bit more later. I'll post them. I taught a little class for my sewing sisters on the carpet bag class, which was cool. I got a lot of inspiration. I sewed exactly one thing. I'll show it to you on Friday when Janice is on. Janice is going to be on with me on Friday. I sewed exactly one thing. If you go to my personal Insta at Bead Kate, you can see I posted a little bit of a teaser of it. But I made kind of this magical jacket that's very like 1920s. I maybe traveled to somewhere in the Mideast, maybe Persia, maybe somewhere, really beautiful, and found this jacket. So it has kind of a 20s vibe, kind of 2020s, 1920s. I don't know. It was really fun. And I made it all out of stuff that I got on the giveaway table because we have a big giveaway table when we all get together. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'm gearing up for another Saturday Stitch In when I'm going to talk a little bit more about creativity and about using things and mixing textures and stuff like that. So, so stay tuned for that. But it was a lot of fun. Some of my sewing friends made a whole bunch of things, but I made one thing kind of from scratch. And I think I'm honing in on the jacket pattern that I'm going to do in France. So this might be it. I still have 2 spaces left. If you want to come sew in France with me, it's going to be the last time for a while. So, so I'd love to see you. You can see it over on Soul Stir Retreats, or it's also in the newsletter. It's also on the homepage on Beadshop. So, yeah, it was really, really great. Janice, you're going to make a loom out of sticks this weekend? First that I'm hearing of it, right? Oh, I can't wait to see what that is. And yeah, do it. Sister, I'll tell you, the sewing, it was so cathartic and refreshing. I love it. It was great. And here's Sharon, is that right, Sharon? First time joining. Welcome, my friend. It's great to have you. All right. Enough chit chat. Let me show you what I've got here. Janice, will you take photos, JP, and show us how you're going to make this nature-inspired loom? I can't wait to see it. I love it, love it, love it. So let me embiggen this one right here. Let me do this. And let me show you. We're going to get to this odd count peyote stitch in just a second because I've been talking about it with Danielle Wicks. And I thought, you know what? It's time for a refresher. But if you watched me on Friday, and I think a lot of you did while I was gone, Janice said that the chat was lively and you had a lot of fun. But I wanted to re-show you these. This was inspired by our Miranda. She made me, and you saw the little bracelet that she made me. It's with my jewelry that I took with me, so I don't have it here. But I thought it was such a fantabulous idea. So what you crazy kid. What Miranda did was she used leather as the base. She used 1.5 millimeter leather, but I went ahead and I used 1 millimeter. I still have it sitting here, this white leather. And all I did was do that same flat macrame over the top, right? That those half hitches to do the square knot. And we added some of the new, and you folks love them. There'll be more coming. If we're sold out of any of these new charms, I promise you, they'll be back in. And just added them along. You can see these. I finished this one. These are a little bit closer like this with the star. This one has that heart charm again that you could put the UV resin or regular resin in on the back, right? Super fun. So these just make great little stackers. They're so fast and easy to make. So I can't wait to see what you create with them. We are getting more of, we're calling these enamel, but what they actually are charms that have a little resin. This is a resin in them, but we're calling them enamel because that's what the manufacturer is calling them, but they're not the traditional enamel, like the ground glass kind of traditional enamel. But I wanted to share those with you. Super fun if you're making them for like spring gifts, or if you make Easter baskets or something like that, or little like May Day is coming up, right? Spring is coming up. These make just fun, sweet, fast little bracelets. I use the hammered button for them. But you could use any kind of little clasp. So a big shout out and a big thank you to Miranda for that inspo. The color of Ceylon that Miranda used for the croissant one is forest green. Okay. And I wanted to let you know, let me do this and say, so Ceylon, Janice and I have been talking about Ceylon. Ceylon, the factory is shrinking their inventory. Okay. The bracelet, this bracelet is turquoise, but the one that I showed on Friday, I think I showed Miranda's as well. That was forest green, just so you know. And then this one here, this is a project. It's up on the project, and it's called Miranda's macrame. Okay. The Ceylon factory is shrinking their colors. Okay. So some of the things that we have on the website are, and here it is. Here, this one is Sarah. Sarah Little, yours is coming out.
Surprise,
Is coming. Sarah Little, you can see it. This is the one that Miranda did for Sarah Little. This one's going out to her. But this one is forest green. And you can see she used that same fun button that's on the end. Really fun to stack. We're going to keep carrying as many of the colors as we can. Janice and I are also looking at some alternative threads as well. I'm looking to the world of sewing and stuff like that. So don't worry, we're on it. Not all of the colors are going away, but especially in the smaller cords, the fine and the micro. So if you see those colors and you like it, okay, pick some up for your stash. Right now, it's the last day of our 20% off sale for St. Patrick's Day. The code is Clover20. It's on the homepage right now till midnight tonight. If you're watching, it is Wednesday, March 18th. So stock up. Now's the time to do it. Put them in your stash. And Tina, The turquoise heart will be back in. We love it. It's going to be in regular rotation. We're going to see, maybe we'll add a color eventually or something like that. But yeah, I love them. So don't worry, they're coming back. What we, when we get something new, sometimes we have to test it out to make sure you love it. But put yourself on the notification list. I promise you they'll be coming back. And this is the note from JP here that says regular Ceylon isn't really shrinking, but micro and fine are shedding purples, orange, many blues, and greens. So yeah. So, and Janice also said she's reordering those today. It takes about 4 weeks as they do come from Europe, but we'll have them back. I promise you. Okay. Okay. So that's a little bit of the news here. The other news I wanted to share with you is I also did a little launch over the weekend. And now's the time if you want to add some more to your stock. These are the really beautiful African brass repros that we just put up this past weekend. They're selling out, but I wanted to show them to you so you had kind of a visual of them, because I know sometimes you kind of like to see what's happening with them. These are the pendants. This nice big one. You can see if I hold it up to me right here, kind of what it looks like. It's kind of a nice big centerpiece. There it goes, kind of in the center like that. I love it. It's great to just, pardon me, to put on leather cord, stuff like that. It's a great statement piece. If you don't want to make a statement that's quite this big, you can go with kind of this smaller one, and you can see kind of where that sits on me, about right there. So there's a variety of these. Really, really fun. These are brass that have been plated with what's called a white metal. It might be some kind of tin. We don't know quite what it is, but they're really gorgeous. I think that this is that Ethiopian the Ethiopian cross kind of style, which I love. Really very pretty. I also found these beads, and if you are an African trade bead collector, I didn't want you to miss these. Okay, let me put these in here. And yeah, you could use the vintage. Oh, sorry, let me switch this out. The patinas, metal patinas. Sorry, why won't this switch? There it goes. The metal patinas would look great on these. Silver black would also work on these if you wanted to antique them more. But if you are a collector of the African trade beads, these are ones that I honestly hadn't seen before. This is a white heart, right? And you can see by the star in the center, right? But the glass is like a plum, and the glass is kind of a semi-transparent over the top. And I've never seen these before. I've never seen this color. I've never seen purple white hearts. And I love them. There's plenty on here. These are about a 5 millimeter, and they will accommodate definitely a 1 millimeter cord. They might even accommodate a 1.5. Really, really nice. Then they're a little spendy. They're expensive. I'll tell you. These two strands were not inexpensive, but I just loved them, and I thought you'd love them too. So I sold them by the strands. I was thinking about putting them in mixes or whatever, but instead I just went with strands. These are a green millefiori with this blue bullseye or blue eye on them. They're a little, like a little bicone kind of a shape, and they have a nice sized hole. Again, a 1 millimeter cord will go through them. They are simply divine. And when these are gone, they're gone. That's it. But these green are just gorgeous. And you can see putting one of these Ethiopian or the crosses like this would look really beautiful, just kind of really simple and plain. You could do that same thing if you don't want a giant one, you know, a giant pendant on there. You could put, I love this little shell one, but look at how nice. Those would layer up really, really nicely. So those are in our just in section. If you like them, grab them. These two beads will not be back. But I'm glad that you folks like them as much as I do. So yeah, so that's it for new things here. So let's take a look at the odd count. Shall we? Shall we look at that? Let me enlarge this. And let me kind of straighten this out. So in our templates over on Beadshop, we have these nice little templates that our buddy Emily Miller made. Emily 1, Emily Senior. Really great. So you can chart out your own peyote. We're going to do some charting of the odd count. Okay. Oh, and BT Dub, Emily 2, Emily Jr. is back with us. You may have noticed that orders are going out a little bit faster, which is good. Miranda's working real hard on getting all of those orders, Miranda and Emily too. So Emily is back in action. We're so happy to have her back. This pen is not really working, so let me get another one. We're so happy to have her back. So yes, things are moving right along. So yeah. And Linda, these are the Venetian African trade. These are here. These, as far as I can tell, these are either made in Ghana, they may have been, or they are Indonesian that have been imported into Ghana for the African trade. Okay. They really mimic the Venetian. And if I look at them like this and I look at the holes are so excellent. So it's hard to say because sometimes the traders don't even know, you know, where they come from. So to be honest, to be completely transparent, these could be old because a lot of the new ones, you see a lot of seaming on them and these don't have it. But the beads look to be in fairly good condition, which is why I think they are newer. So that's to the best of my knowledge. But look at the holes, how clean those holes are. So it's really hard to say. So that's my best guess with those. The rest of our charts under our learning, Emily made us a whole bunch of really fantastic charts. So we have them for a lot of different stitches. Let me see if I can get this green pen. Does that show up? It does-ish. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to outline, maybe I should do this with a Sharpie. I mean, with a highlighter, something yellow. Let me see here. Okay. So we're going to focus on this row right here, like this, okay? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to be a 7-row peyote. Okay. And when we do the odd count, right, the first odd count, we put on the first 2 rows. So we're going to put on the first 2 rows. I'm going to color this in so you can see this. Not 7 rows, 7 beads across. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you see how those are odd? 7 beads. Beads per row. Okay, right there. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do this in A-dots so you can see this. And I'm going to show you. Okay. So let's do this. Oh, thanks for the birthday greetings from my mom. I'm not sure where that happened, but yeah, I turned 60 in exactly 6 months. My mom is going to turn 81 in August. So I know, right? She's just a baby, just a baby. Let's do these A-dots. Is this enough of a contrast? It probably isn't, is it? Hang on. Let me get rid of that. Let me get another A-dot. Miranda has my A-dots on her desk.
Lies.
Oh, lies. She has them right here. Let me see. Let me get something that's not totally eye-searing. Hang on. How about this? Yeah, that'll work as a contrast. Okay. So what we're going to do to start, okay, is we're going to put on 14 beads, okay? Because when you start your peyote, regardless if it's odd count or even, you put the first 2 rows on, okay? So we're going to do those first 2 rows. So we'll do them, and I'll do them in opposite colors so you can see it. I'm going to use Fireline. I'll use white because it might be easier for you to see. This is 4 pound, but you could use KO. I know some of you, including me, our beloved KO. We love that too. Whatever works, but I'm going to use, if I can get this untangle out of here. Hang on. Let me get it a little closer to my eyes, my field of vision. Now I've done it. Now it's a big tangled mess. Hang on. Great, great, great. Hang on. Hold, please. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to use a size 10 beading needle that was here a minute ago. Oh, let me just grab another one. Hang on. I have a whole ton of sharps, which I could use, but I will. Yeah, here's a 10. I want a 10, I think. Oh, I've got some of the color eye needles here. I'll just use, what size are these? These are 12s. I really want a 10, but that's okay. Let me see what I can find. Here's a 10. Let me wrestle these open. Hang on. The Fireline I am using is a 4 pound, but since these are A-dots that I'm demoing with, you could use a 6 pound. Okay. Okay. So let me cut a length of this. I need my shears here, my Zurons. I'm going to cut kind of like a wingspan of this, so I've got enough to use. There we go. And let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, my mom, she went yesterday she made 2 quilts of valor that she presented yesterday to the Veteran of the Year, I believe it was Gwenda, and the Firefighter of the Year here in the Fresno Clovis area. So, so she's taking a little bit of time off from quilting and cutting, but that was really fun. She went to the dinner last night. I didn't because I had just gotten back from my from my sewing retreat. So, but they were really quite beautiful. 2, 4, 6, 7. Oh, but 14 total. I'm not thinking. 14 total, first 2 rows. Let me make sure I didn't screw that up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 4 more. 12 and 14. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put a stopper bead. Well, maybe I should on the end. I just will. I'll tie one on there just in case something goes awry. But I can untie it a little bit later. So now, just as a reminder for regular peyote, let me get a little tighter in here so you can see this. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. The mantra for peyote is put on a bead. In this case, I'm going to put on a bead that's the same color as the bead I'm skipping. Put on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Okay? Like that. I'm going to hold it in my hand because sometimes it's a little bit easier. And we'll just tighten that up so you've got this nice little segment that looks like that, right? That should be fairly familiar to you. Let me I think this background is a little weird. Is that too dark? Is that better? That might be better. Okay, so the next one, put on a bead. It's that same color. Put on a bead. Skip a bead. We'll skip the bead in that same color and go through a bead. Okay, just like regular peyote stitch. Okay. And I'm going to keep doing that, putting on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Let me see if I can focus so you can see this right now. Is that any better? I have so many backgrounds here. Let me see. Oh, you know what? This might be it. Hang on. Let's try this one. Maybe that's the best. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, put on a bead. Skip a bead. Go through that bead. Put on a bead. Skip that bead. Go through a bead. Almost there. Right? So see how that first row is getting split up into the first 2. And now this is my 3rd row. Put on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Put on a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. All right. So now what happens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. What happens here is hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had one too many because I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. Let me take this one out. I'm going to count these up again and let's take a look. Because see here, when it's off like this, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my odd count row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that's my odd count. And you can see here when I go back, because this row of 7, I can't get a bead on here, right? I'm going to have to weave back through to get my thread in the correct position. Okay? So let me show you. Hang on. So I'm going to go through my final one here. I want to show you. And I can't lock down my thread as of yet, right? Because this is an, if I put my extra one on, right, and I go through, this would just be like regular peyote. So here, what I have to do is I have to lock down my thread and I have to come back through this thread here. Does that make sense? Let me just show you, okay, what I mean. I'm going to take these extra ones off. So I actually start with the odd count with the 13 beads to start. And I'll go over this again. Sometimes I have a little trouble with the start as you folks do, but I know that you're sticking with me. So now what I do is, right, this is open, like I can't go back, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. Sorry if I'm going off screen. Let me get a little tighter. There we go. So what I need to do is I'm going to focus on these 5 beads right here, okay, at the end of the row. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go back through this one, back through this one, and down. Okay. You have to kind of turn the corner. And then I am going to go back through these 2 right there. Back through this one on the end. And now back through this. And you only have to do this on one end. Okay? So this one, oh, the colors, Farana, I'll tell you. This is 8-552. And this is 8-4696. Okay. So now, yeah, it is kind of just like a crazy 8 kind of a formation, right? We come out here. Now our thread is in the right position. And we're just going to peyote stitch back. We're going to skip that bead, put on this bead, go through a bead, put on a bead, skip that bead, go through a bead, and I'm putting on the same color as the bead that I'm skipping. Okay, does that make sense? Now watch what happens here when I get to the end. This end will be okay. Right? Here I am. Now see here, this is just like your regular. I don't have to do that going back through, right? Because this is a down bead. Okay? So I'm going to put on the same bead. It's only on the opposite end that you have to do that funky turnaround. Okay, so I put on a bead, I skip this bead, I go through a bead. And for this stripe, I'm putting on the same color bead as I'm skipping. Okay, and someone asked, Mary Ellen, I think you asked about 2-drop or whatever. You know, I'll have to ask Danielle. This might be a little outside of my expertise, but I bet you could, because with drops, with a 2-drop or a 3-drop, it's the same technique. You're just doing that multiple drop. Okay, so let me show you. Here we go. Up like this and through. And now, can you see I can't, there's nowhere for this, you know, I have to put a bead on here. So I have to go through this bead. I have to do that turnaround. So again, I'm going to focus on these last 5. So I need to be coming back through, back through this bead. I need to get it a little closer to my eyes. Hang on. Then I'll get it back in frame. Okay. So I went through this last one. So see, I've got to get a bead right there, but I can't just put this bead on because there's nothing for it to go through here, right? So I've got to turn the corner. So I am going to go back through this bead, this bead, right, like that, this bead, there's that 5. Now I'm going to go through here, or actually, no, this one, sorry, a little backwards. This one. And this one. And now, see how I can enter this bead here. And now I'm ready to go. Okay. Now that's my up bead. Here's my down bead. So I'm skipping that bead, but I put the same bead on that's that color. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more rows here. And if you're trying this out, I would use something with a high contrast like this because it's easy to get confused. Even I am getting confused at the end of these rows. So I'm going to do this until I'm feeling good about it. I don't do odd count that often, right? We're going to talk about designing with it in a second. I love odd count because you have an odd, you have a center row here, right? See how that's shaping up? So this side, this is the fast side, right? The one that's just like regular peyote. And then I'll come down and I'll do the second side and I'll do a better job of it. Sometimes you just have to practice a bit. And doing a practice, I think, with the 8/0 is a good way to do it because they're fast and big and easy to do, right? So here we go. That one, this last one, and we put on our final one, but there's no place to lock it in, right? So we're going to come in. I'm going to lock it in the bead that's next to it. I'm going to go down here, right? That's locked in. But I have to come back out this bead right here, right? So I've got to make a big U-turn, okay? So I'm going to go down this bead, down this bead, up this bead, up this bead, up this bead, and down this bead so my thread is here. Okay? So down that bead where I went through already, down this bead, down this bead, up this bead, up that next bead. And the turnarounds get pretty quick. And there are different ways to turn around. I think this is just how I do it. And see, now I can go down that edge bead. Now I'm ready for my next one. So let's take a look. And Linda's asking, well, why would we choose this over the regular peyote? Well, I'll show you. Let's take a look. Let's get our chart back here, okay, that Emily had for us. And let's do a little count, okay? Here, let me get my little pointer. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads on the interior. Okay, so this ends with the same bead, okay, on either end. When it's a peyote, when it's even count, you end on that color, okay? You end on an even, you have 6 and 6. But what this does, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have a center line right here, okay? So if you were making like a chevron pattern or a pattern, so let me turn this into a pattern, okay? Let me show you how we might design with this. So now that I've warmed up, I still am not promising that I'm not going to screw this up, but let's, whoops, there's some of these. I'm going to put on a base row here. I'm going to put on a couple of just plain base rows so we can start looking at a pattern. So let me do this. This is the red Picasso 8/0. There should be some good contrast here, I think. And I'm just grabbing these kind of willy-nilly out of my bead box. Okay. So here's this. This is this one. And I'm going to put a solid color here too. Okay. So we've got a single color base row. I promise you, there is a method to this madness. Usually I do even count, but sometimes, like Danielle was talking when she was doing her bracelets and stuff with this mix, with her neon notebook mixes, sometimes you want a center point. Like if we were creating a diamond or something, I'm going to try and create a shape on the fly. We'll see. It may all end in tears, but hopefully it won't. Okay. Here we go. Like this. Okay. I'm going to put this red one on the end and I'm going to lock it in. So I go through the one down below it, the one down below that, the one down below that, turn it around, below this one. Let's see if I can get this whole diagonal. I can just get those two. This one. And now I'm back in business. Okay. And I'm going to go through that bead that's right there. Okay. So let me count my next row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one right here is my center point. Okay. So I'm going to fill in one more base row here. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to start with this center point and change the color of this bead. Okay. Just stick with me here. Let's go through this odd row. This one. And now we will put in our 6. Here we go. There's that. I'm going over that center. This is where the center row is, right here. Going through. Just like that. All right. So I'm going to put this light colored row up here so you can see the contrast. So now I'm going to put on, here's the odd count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make those one color. This fourth one, I'm going to make it a different color and finish off with the 3. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Let's change up that color. I'll do this. This is kind of a mustardy matte color. I'll tell you the color of that in a second. So that's going to be the point, the center point. This is Rainbow Pistachio 4693. Okay, there's my center. Even count, you don't have a center. You can't have a point. Whoops. I don't want that one. I want another red one. Let's see if nope. I gotta unthread it. I can't go back through. Sorry. Let me just restring this. We'll finish up beads 5, 6, and 7 with the red Picasso. If I can see to thread this flippin' needle. Hang on a second. I'm going to needle that thread, everybody. Needle that thread. Sorry, I have to get it in my line of vision. I hate undoing a thread on camera. You know how it is, right? You're like, ugh, now I've got to thread that needle again. But we use Emily's trick of holding the thread right under our nail, our fingernail, and putting the eye of the needle right on that thread, but I'm still having trouble seeing it today for some reason. I'm going to flatten it a little bit with, sometimes this trick works. Flatten it really well with the end of our, can you see how I flatten that a little bit? With the end of our plier. And then we place the eye of that needle. Oh, so close. Remind me not to make another bead mistake so I don't have to rethread. I don't know what's the matter with me today. Oops, it was in there. Talk amongst yourselves. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this needle aside. I'm going to get a sharps. That's what I'm going to do. I'm done with that long beading needle. There we go. See how fast I did that one? Yeesh. Tiresome. The sharps is fine for me to use. It's a little shorter and it's a little bit easier for me to grip. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm happier that way. There we go. Sorry about that little. It happens to all of us, right? Oof. So tiresome. All right. Here is the turnaround end. So I'll go down here. And you'll see when I start to create this pattern. So see, I'm going to go down that little 5 point there. Yeah, this size 10 sharps kind of gave me a new lease on life. I don't know. I was fighting that long one. There we go. That goes back through there. Goes back through there. Can you see that? And like this. I know, Mary Ellen, I am in such agreement. Some needles just have bad mojo. I agree. Okay. Oh, I'll show you about this kind of weird side over here. We'll kind of play around with that. But here we go. So now let's start going back through. So see here, this hole and this hole right here, I'm going to start adding my pattern. So we'll go through this one. And I'll keep going with that red Picasso. Another red Picasso. I know not everybody likes a size 10 sharps for your seed bead work, but this flat peyote, for some reason, my fingers can really manipulate it a lot better. And I think it's because, see how when I'm holding this needle like this, right? This finger right here can really help me control that needle. If the needle is too large, I have trouble with it. And I think that the eye on these sharps are a little better for me. So, you know, whatevs. That works out. So now this is a regular side. So see how we're getting a chevron with a point like that? So let me come in. I'm going to add that yellow here and here. Okay, we're going to make a diamond shape. So that one. Now that rainbow pistachio. Let's get that tight. That yellow. That yellow. Look at that. That yellow. Now the red. And a final red. Okay. Now we go back. We are going to turn the corner. We go through that one. We go through that one. We go through these three. There we go. I'm getting my mojo here. This one. And back down. I'm going to make a nice big diamond shape. See how this is shaping up? So I'm going to bring this red one. We'll bring the yellow. And the yellow. See, that's still that center point. That's the center one right there. Oh, I'm going so fast. My thread came out, but that's okay because this needle and I are friends, she says encouragingly. Flatten it out. Bring it under right next to your thumbnail and put it on. There we go. Now this one. And now this one. Now we go back to the red. And we flip. I like to flip like this. I'm going to do one more row. I'm going to add one more yellow to right there, this last one, and then we'll start decreasing the pattern. Okay, so we'll go here. This is like the center of that diamond. We'll go here. Whoops. Not, yes, please come out good. There we go. Not a red. Sorry about that. Pretend that didn't happen. So we're going to go the pistachio all the way across. There it goes. Like that. And this, we end with one of those, and then the last one in that row is the red. So now we're going to start decreasing the diamond shape. Okay, so this is a U-turn row, a turnaround row. So I'll do that. Turn around, turn around, turn around. Where I go here. I go up through here and back down. So we put in a red. We go through that one. Then we have our yellow. We'll go all the way with that yellow. That's our highest point right there on the diamond. All right, now this is just a regular row. So what I'm going to do here is, right, I start decreasing in color. So here, I add that red. See how it makes that point? See that? And now I'm going to make this all yellow, yellow, yellow. And when we get to that, where that last yellow is, we're going to put in that red, or what we can call the background color. Okay. So now it's time for a red. and our final red. And then I'll go back down. Now let's take a look here and you can really see it. Okay, go down there. So see how we've done that shape. We're going to continue to shape it. Now, if you wanted like a center bead that was a different color, and I was afraid I was going to do it wrong, so I didn't do a center bead. But see, that's the very center of this diamond right here. Okay, that's the center row going this way. That's the center row going this way. So this is the exact center of that diamond. So like if you wanted, like if you're doing a flower or something, right, that bead would go right there, if that makes sense. But I didn't want to screw it up, so I wanted to stitch it. Then I wanted to make sure, and I wanted to show you. Okay, so let's go ahead, turn around here, turn around, turn around. I'm running out of thread, but that's okay. Turn around. This is fire line, so I could always do that little trick that Danielle does, which I may do, but we'll see. So this one goes here. Okay. Now I'm going to add a red one below that. And you can just kind of mimic what's happening on the other side, right? You can kind of see. So now this one, this one. Now I know that is going in, so that's a red Picasso, another red Picasso. And this is just a regular peyote stitch row, no U-turn, so or almost a 3-point turn really, right? So I had 2, now we have to go down to 3. There we go. And we'll do this yellow. That's the point right there. So see, we put that diamond in, right? And we'll finish this off. So this is why, just like Wendy, you're commenting, this is why we need odd count. So we can get these designs with a point. If this were an even count peyote, you wouldn't have that point there. So remember, the first 2 rows, I said it was 14 beads. I lied to you. It's odd count. It's 13 beads for the first row. And you have 6 beads on one row and then the 7 beads on the other. Okay, so I always get an odd count. It's a little tougher, right? It's easier to get mixed up. But once, do a little practice run like I did here, and you will be good to go. Oh, and this came out. Let's add another little piece of thread. Okay, let's do this like Danielle does to add thread. I'll show you this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this thread. Let me get my thread burner and I'll show you how Danielle does this. What we're going to do is we're just going to add thread, new fire line to our old fire line. If you haven't seen her do this, it's a good one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie a square knot, left over right, right over left, with the old thread and the new. And we're going to pull this to tighten. Now, before it tightens all the way, I tightened it almost too much. Let me see if I can pull that out. We're going to use the thread burner and we're going to mushroom that end. There we go. Can you see that little end? I pulled it almost too much. So what I do is I get my thread burner and I mushroom that end. I may have pulled it a little too much. If it does, I'll just redo it. But I'll go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing on this side where I mushroom. I'll burn it through and I'm going to mushroom the end of that. And now see those little mushrooms? Keep this from pulling through. See that? And see, it's right there. So you've tied the knot, and if I pulled it without the little mushroom ends, it would have pulled across. Okay? But since I had those little tiny ends, I mushroomed them down, and that acts as a stopper. Okay? That's not going anywhere. Okay? So thank you, Danielle Wicks, for that little tip. And now I'm back in business. I just have to get this needle threaded. Okay. So let's go ahead and needle that thread. There it is. And this knot, it's so little, and since I'm using 8/0, this will just slide right through the hole. Okay. Linda, it's never too early for wine. Let's have a ladies' lunch, shall we? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And then I'll go in and I'll just do one final row and you'll be really able to see this nice pattern. Okay. So we'll flip it. But what I would do with these charts that Emily made us, you can kind of outline an odd count, odd count rows, or just kind of color them in. And make yourself some little patterns. Though this little diamond pattern is nice, right? This is a great beginning pattern to do. You could put a couple of plain rows in between, right? And then start this diamond pattern again. There we go. Just like that. Okay? Look at how nice that is. Right? Now with this, there was a question about, kind of like this wonky end that's over here. It is a little tight. What you could do, and it's because I was weaving in and it was my thread path wasn't quite right. Let me see if, where does that one go? Let me see if I can back this thread out. There we go. I'm going to back that thread out there. I'm going to back that thread out there. So it makes it kind of easy, there we go, to take out, like let's say that you started with kind of like a pattern row like this, right? You can take that first row out, second row out, whatever, that's actually not sitting quite right. See, this is where things are happening that is not correct. So let's come in here and try and figure out where that thread is going. And this is Fireline, so it's nice and tough. I feel like it's that row. Come back here. Might be this thread. Might be that thread. Nope. Might be one of these threads. I'm sure it is. I just have to capture it. There it goes. There's that one. That thread is here. I just want to take out that last little row. And you could restitch it, right? That's the cool thing about peyote is you can peyote stitch it one way and the other way. Let's see, where is that thread? I think that thread is here. So you could come in and fix it. It's right. I'm getting kind of a weird deja vu. I don't know why. Why is that happening? Have I done this before? Hard to see where that little thread is coming from. I think it's going through that bead. I just can't quite tell which one it is. I'm almost ready to cut it off, but I won't. There it is. See, as soon as I threatened cutting it off, it was like, no, I'll comply. There we go. And once I get this little row that's not quite right off the end, this was like my first turnaround when I was confusing myself, I think. So let's just get this one off. Come on. It's one of you. There it is. I see it. There it goes. I think it's there. So there we go. I'm going to take this one out too. I did remove the stopper bead a while back, I think. This is just going to take this out. I want to get rid of this business up there, which is what I want to do. Yep, there we go. Okay, look at that. And let me just center that. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Now I can just come back in and re-stitch this. It looks like I have my first bead up there as well. So I'll need to take that off, but I can restitch that so it's nice and even. Okay. So look at there, right? You can kind of take it out and then redo it. So I hope that helps with your conquering this odd count. There we go. I'm going to just restitch this so it looks nice and everything looks even. You could edge this too if you didn't want these big spaces in between. You could use like some 15s here to end it, right? That would look good too. There we go. So we look good. Okay. But this little shape, I just think this would look great. A series of these with these little diamonds and stuff. Yeah, we could zip these together. I would just have to make sure that they're adding up to the right. I'd need another row, I think, to zip these. Or take this one off the end. That's it right there. Whoops, right? Let me see. Let me see if zipping this works. That one. So see, I'm just going through the up beads. And, you know, don't be afraid to try it out. I mean, you saw I screwed it up. Screw ups are inevitable when you're teaching yourself something fresh and new. Odd count just has a way, at least for me, for sending my brain kind of around the twist, but literally. But see here how we're zipping that up? See how that's coming together? I know, I love a peyote tube as well. They do look fancy, Alita, right? We're going through. We're going through the outer, you know, the up bead, back and forth, back and forth. Where is this one going? Let me take a look and see where we are. Did I skip one? Sorry, let me get a little closer to my line of vision. Then I'll put it back in the camera. No, there we go. So we want to be right here and right here. And you just close it up. And we would weave the other end in too. Okay, here's my little round. Look at that. And we've got a nice little bead, right? And this would look great around a cord or whatever. We did it. It looks really great. There she is. One odd count peyote tube. Whew. That wasn't too bad, right? I urge you to try it out. And I love this high contrast, right? It's kind of fun with those little stripes on the back. Seems to be working out. So there you have it. That's it. And they are good for covering up like junctions. Yeah, or on a wrap bracelet. This little tube is really going to come in handy for something, or like a multiple strand it could go through. But I love patterning with the seed beads, right? You could do like an outline of this, just really nice, really fun ways to work with these, right? Super fun. Whew. Yes, I think I forged a new neuron pathway. That's for sure. Look at how great this one. I wasn't even thinking about it, but you could make a series of these tubes. Wouldn't that look good? And slide them onto this, these trade beads, right? You could also look at this purple. Always designing, right? Let me pull back just a little bit here. So if we have this there, look at that. One, maybe another one here. So make 4 of these tubes, pair it with these purple trade beads. This one would also look good because this kind of mirrors the point on that. That's a good looking necklace, if I do say. Super simple, right? I like it. So hopefully this gives you some ideas, fast and easy to do. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to see you on Friday with Janice. Janice is coming on with me. We have a little bit of something to share with you. Starts with a P, ends with an Earl. So you'll see us on Friday with a fun project. I'm kind of loving this with this. This is that red Picasso and that's that pistachio. I literally used what was just sitting here on my desk. So super fun, I think. But yeah, play around with this. I want to see. Do some stash diving. See what you've got. Might be kind of fun to play around with. All right. That's my story, my friends. I'm sticking to it. Thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday. I really appreciate you. I'm glad, Patty, that you had fun with it. It does take a village. I got all of you help me through this, which was great. We really appreciate it. So thank you. Now more than ever, my friends, it does take a village. We are very, very grateful that you show up with us every Wednesday and Friday to create. This is our 10th year of doing these live broadcasts. I was telling my friends this weekend, 2026 marks our 10th year. And in October, it will be our official 10-year anniversary of these live broadcasts, which is just crazy to think about. So we appreciate you always for being here. Jump over to our Facebook group, The Bead Table, our Instagram page at beadshop.com. Our Pinterest pages are full of inspiration. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us at info@beadshop.com, and anywhere on social, tag us at beadshop.com so we can see the beautiful things that you share and create. Remember to use till the end of the night tonight. Clover 20 is the coupon code if you're watching us live on Wednesday, March 18th. If you're watching us afterwards, go ahead and sign up for our newsletter over on beadshop.com. That way you'll hear about our new product releases, any coupon codes, any news that comes out. Our newsletter is the way to keep in touch. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you on Friday. Bye all.